Hello fellow simmers and welcome to my next instalment of my Series 2 of Reviews and Previews series. This is Samuel Beeman of BLS talking, and today we're going to be looking at the Bakerloo Line for Train Sim World 2 once again. And on this time we're going to be covering the second part of the route down to Harrow and Wildstone. So I've just loaded up a scenario actually. It's a round haul, I believe it's called, and this travels from Queen's Park to Harrow and Wildstone and back again. But we're not going to do the full scenario because, you know, it's a long old scenario and obviously we just want to see the second half of the route. So without further ado, let's get into this and resume our game. So, welcome to Queen's Park Station. This is a northbound service. This service travels to Harrow and Wildstone and then terminates at Queen's Park. Fantastic. So, first of all, we've got to unlock our doors. So we unlock the left side because we're on the left platform. It's raining, so we're going to have to probably put our wipers on in a minute, so that'll be interesting to see. Obviously we're currently at Queen's Park, so we're waiting until 10 o'clock, so we've got a minute, but here we are, Queen's Park. There is another locomotive leaving the station, a unit even. So here we are at Queen's Park Station, and yeah, it's looking really nice, isn't it? I'm loving the weather effects on the rain there. It's nice to see, isn't it? So there we are, locking our doors. We're going to put ourselves into forward, release our brakes. And off we go. I've done it wrong here, haven't I? My bad. Okay, so we go now. So much for... Okay, that's really annoying. Wait, so much for our departure from the outside. That's ruined it now, isn't it? For some reason we haven't got any rain on the front windows at the minute. That's a bit odd, isn't it? I mean, you would have thought they would have done that by now. I have noticed on this route the frame rates are a bit dodgy from time to time. Like, the route doesn't necessarily run 100% smoothly, and I think that is one thing I will comment against it running wise of the route, is that frames on this route they're not as good as opposed to the older Train Sim World Classic routes. Train Sim World Classic, the preserved collection. I mean, it's funny we have to call it that now because they haven't actually been out for that long, but yet they are now a preserved collection, as it were. Out of date, as they call it. Outdated. Okay, so we can now move on. Yeah, for some reason rain isn't coming on the windows. I would have thought that would have happened by now, but there you go. I do say that, in all honesty, the rain effects in Train Sim World are not as good as Train Simulator 2021. That's me being brutally honest. I don't think the rain effects are very good in Train Sim World to oppose to that, and you would have thought they would be better, but they're not, because as you can see already, we haven't got any spots of rain at all on my front windows, and there would have been spots of rain by now, like especially at going at this speed, but why isn't there any? There's not even any on the side of the cab. Maybe if I go out and then back in again, does it work? No. Okay, so I don't know what's going on here, but apparently rain doesn't hit the windows on the front of the cab here. We must be rainproof or something. Here we are at Kensal Green. Loading our passengers aboard. We are on time so far. Woohoo! Fantastic. That's what we want to see. Lock our doors. I'm going to do a little toot on the crap horn. A crap horn. That is really bad, isn't it? Got a bit of wheel slip going on here. I suppose it's that weather, isn't it? So I've had no rain on the windows, folks. Apparently it's rainproof. Amazing. Superior bit of technology, that. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing considering we can actually use the wipers, but there's literally no point in actually using them. But I suppose we could just give that immersion that there is rain on the windows and use them, keep them running. Oh, what the hell was that all about? Oh, speeding! Christ, I wasn't looking at the speed limits there. I was too busy babbling on about rain and I didn't look. Okay, that sound of that wiper can get a little bit annoying after a while, I must admit. Oh, so much better. So much better. What is going on with these frames? I am a bit disappointed on the frame rates of this route, I must admit. There's something not quite right with that. But there's nice AI on this scenario, I must admit. Getting quite a few bits of traffic flying past. So here we are at Harleston. Coming up to Stonebridge next, I believe, which is where we ended our previous video of this route. So, when you're on a scenario like this where it's raining and it's wet, don't go straight up to parallel because you will slip. It's ideal for you to start by going into shunt and then to series until you gain about 10 mile an hour on your speed before heading up to parallel. I've noticed that, so that's something I've learned from this. As I say, the only downfall, well, another downfall to this route is probably the lack of AI traffic on the London Overground line, which we can see on our left-hand side there with the overhead live wires. It would have been nice to see some AI on the Overground, even if it was just like, you know, AI only. But just to see the 378s or whatever runs on the Overground line running, it would be a nice thing to see, you know. It just adds that little bit extra to the route, and you know, you would have thought there would be some traffic on the Overground. Without a doubt there would have been, especially with how far this route follows it. That is really loud and annoying, that wiper, I must admit. Just not going to bother about the wiper now. Can't be bothered. It's too loud. It's noisy. It's off-putting. They should lower that volume, or at least have a different sound for the wiper at least. Maybe that's why they didn't put rain on the windows, because it turns out that the wiper just pisses the player off so much that you know what I mean. But yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment that there's no rain on the windows. I don't understand what that's all about, considering, you know what I mean, it's supposed to be a very high quality sim. So now we're heading down to Wembley Central, so we're now on new metals, and obviously I haven't yet seen this section of the route, so it'd be a complete sort of first look for me, really. A little bit disappointed with my frame rates on here. I don't understand why I'm getting such a bad quality frame rate at the minute. Appears we've got some snow under here, it looks like. Well, or overlapping ballast. Don't know what that's all about. Nice bit of buildings beside the line here. I'm liking the look of this. It's looking quite cool. We're in a nice sort of urban area of London. As you can see, we still have the Overground beside us. I don't understand why there isn't any AI of that measure, you know what I mean? You would have thought they would have seen something by now. And here we are coming into Wembley Central. I'm guessing this has something to do with Wembley Arena. I'm not going to go around collecting the collectibles because this is obviously a scenario and we need to treat this professionally. I just realised my whole time I've forgotten to change my bloody destination blind. What an idiot. Right, okay, so Harrow and Wildstone, that's what we're going to. There we go. Fantastic. What an idiot for not forgetting to do that. Oh no, okay, we've somehow gone on top there, so that's weird. I want to take a screenshot. Okay, so we want to lock our doors, obviously. I'm just going to take myself a screenshot quickly of the locomotive for our thumbnail. So there we are. Fantastic. Okay, off we go again. Okay, the rain's just kicked in. Did you see that? Like, the rain wasn't raining then outside, but now all of a sudden, as soon as I've come outside, it started raining again. What the hell? Bit weird, isn't it? Yeah, I must admit, the rain isn't exactly 100% on this route, is it? Let's face it. I mean, look, do you see that again? Like, I went through a bridge, and then all of a sudden it's like the rain just stopped outside, and then it's just kicked in again. I don't really get what's going on there with that. It's almost like they're trying to script, the whole factor of rain not hitting the windows under bridges and tunnels and stuff, but instead of actually putting the correct scripting and physics in, they're just stopping the rain altogether. Another sense of laziness, you know what I mean? You can see that happening right there. Okay, so we're now running late on schedule because, again, like I say, it's really difficult, this route, to really keep to timetable. It's a really challenging route to drive, lots of different speed limits, and it's quite hard to keep to timetable. So this is North Wembley, which looks a really quite nice station actually. I'm liking the old canopies here. Yeah, it's looking really quite nice here. Nice station. Right, we're going to lock our doors now and onwards towards Harrow and Wildstone. So next is South Kenton, and we've got to be there at 10:16, and it is now 10:16, so we are already running a minute late. Well, a few seconds late, I suppose. Oh, we're wheel slipping again. It's because I put it straight into parallel. There you go, made a mistake there. So in 2.5 of a mile, we've got a 10 mile an hour speed restriction, so must be careful and watch out for that. I'm also getting notifications on Facebook, so I shall be checking those like right now. But making sure that I do stop at South Kenton. Kenton beforehand. And you see, now this is why you don't text and drive, ladies and gents. This is something here, because you can miss your stop points, but luckily enough, I stopped. Look at that. There we go. And here we are, South Kenton, looking pretty nice. Got a nice station building there, nice canopy. It's interesting to see this because this is all new to me, like all this section here. I've just noticed, is there any actual door sounds when they close? It don't sound like there's any actual door sounds when they close. Oh, so now the rain comes on the windows. Of course it does. So from the outside, there's rain on the windows, look. But okay, so there is slight, but it's not great. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm not too keen. Oh no, there's no door closing sounds. It don't sound like there's any door closing, like the when it shuts. You know, it's a bit strange. Ah, so now we're coming up to Kenton. It doesn't speed up very fast, this loco, does it? Really? Well, the unit. It's very quite slow at speeding up, and that's probably another reason why it's really difficult to keep the timetable. But in the means of how it drives really nicely, and they've done a grand job on physics. Sounds, as I say, and as I said in the previous video, are something to be desired. Really, and they're not perfect, but there you go. So it would have benefited with more sounds, and obviously the biggest letdown is obviously the fact that there is no announcements when they open and close the doors. It would have been nice to hear that, especially on an underground route. I mean, I think that's a really important factor to have. Even in the reviews, you know what I mean, it has stated people would want that, you know, it's... But obviously you've got the announcements on the stations, but they're basically recycled from Great Western Express, and it's all done by Dovetail staff instead of actual real voices. Okay, so we're now coming up to our final stop on our drive down, so Harrow and Wildstone. So we're looking forward to seeing that. I'll take it that's also where we switch cabs. See, are we following the overground line again? Because, yeah, I think we are. And, you know, why is there no AI on the overground? Look how long we've been following the overground. You would have thought that they would have at least built an AI-only train for the overground. It's quite an irritating thing, like the fact there is no overground trains whatsoever. What's going on with that? Mind you, scenery-wise, I am quite liking the urban look of London. They've captured that quite nicely. Okay, so Harrow and Wildstone, here we are, approaching the station. Gotta be careful as we approach. Start slowing up now. I'm sure I've been to Harrow and Wildstone now before. I kind of recognise the station name. I'm not too sure, but it's looking really nice though. I'm liking the look of this station. Nice gradual stop, and there we are. Fantastic. Unlock our doors. I believe we'll have to switch cabs here for our return journey, but obviously we're not going to be filming that today, and we're just going to take a brief look at the station before we end our video. Okay, so we're going to the north turnback. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we'll head up there first and then see where we go from there. Okay. Contact signaller. Proceed at restricted speeds. Fantastic. So we're getting some good points, AP points for doing this scenario, which is good news. So I must complete this. So once I've done this video, I must finish this scenario in order to level up, and more in the game factor, I suppose you could say. But there you go. So this is North Turnback. So I'm guessing that we will swap cabs down here, and then go back into the station. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Yeah, I'm guessing so, yeah, because there's a buffer stop here. Set the traction brake control to shut down. Ah! Shit. My bad. Where's shut down, you frickin' thing? Okay. There we are. Okay, let's... Ah, there we are. Okay, so we've got to come down to here. Okay, now we've got to change cabs. So, we are now not in service. There we are. And this is where we switch cabs. Headlights need to be turned off. There we are. Right, hello ladies and gents. I can see that they haven't despawned you yet. As you can see, this is one of the things that that is irritating, is the fact that they don't despawn the passengers when you obviously shut off a loco, a unit even. And they just stay here. And that's not accurate, is it? Make sure to shut all my doors behind as I move through the train. quite an interesting experience, isn't it, moving through here? Get to see all the cars and compartments. Well, here we are, we've reached our cab. There we are. Let's set the control. Oh, we've got to set the control switch first, my bad. Okay, so we've got to operate a southbound service back to Queen's Park, so we must make sure that we are sort of flying down, like rolling, so we must make sure that's off. Set our destination to Queen's Park. Oh, can you make it wonky? Oh, yes, look at that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You can make it wonky. We don't want it too wonky, so we want it central. There we are. Fantastic. I like that. That's really cool. And off we go. Back into Harrow and Wildstone station. We've got a bit of rain on the windows this time, which is nice to see. There we are. So we are running late on schedule now, folks, as you can see. I will get out and just check around Harrow and Wildstone for a bit before we end the video. Okay. So here we are at Harrow and Wildstone, and I'm guessing that yeah, it is quite a nice looking station, isn't it? Oh, I'm liking that. Can you hear the noise of when you're walking along? It's sort of a wet noise. So it's like the rain's hit the floor. It's nice. And I'm guessing you can go on all platforms on this station. Yeah, this is the overground line, you see, because there's no third rail, so why there's no to make sure we put our route maps down and stuff like that. But it's a nice looking station. It's not bad, is it? It's nice to have all the canopies about and that. It's very clean though. I mean, there could be a little bit more weathering done on this station here, but you know, because unlike the underground stations where there is some nice wear and tear going on, this one doesn't really have it as much. Fantastic weathering on the actual signs at the end of the station itself. I like that.
Operation at this station. Please have your tickets available for inspection.
We've got a newspaper stand there. We need to fill that up. There we are. So these are obviously all the collectibles. You have to fix the electronic boards, the cameras, and you need to obviously restack the newspaper stands and add posters and route maps, and they are your collectibles. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this part 2 of the Bakerloo Line review, and yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to check out part 1 of the Bakerloo Line Train Sim World experience of mine, do check out the previous video, and I'll link that in the description of the video as well. Part 1, obviously. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, and I'll link that in the description as well. And obviously the website as well, which I'll also link in the description, so you have plenty of links to look at. So, and again, thanks for watching, guys. Samuel Beeman of BLS. Goodbye for now.